Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gaining Perspective with Cody Armstrong. I'm your host, Cody Armstrong. I know that it's been a long time since I've done one of these recordings, and that's alright. It's not a huge deal. Just had a lot going on in my life, and nothing too negative really, but, still enough to kind of keep me preoccupied away from doing a podcast. Still love doing these things. I had a friend of mine hit me up and asked me if I was still doing them. I know that I don't have like a huge following or anything, and without a set schedule, I know that that probably cannot be achieved, but I'll still record these. If I ever find like a block of time or like a day that actually works for me, I'll be sure to actually, follow through and record on a scheduled basis, and I'll let anybody who does follow me know what that schedule is. But anyways, we're going to jump right into it today, and today's topic is more about, the exact topic is going to be about cynicism. And the reason for that is just because I've kind of been going through a lot of emotions as of late, and what that means is really I pick a subject that kind of is more important to me. Like it strikes a nerve, or it just feels like I should talk about it, or I have a need to talk about it. So, as far as cynicism goes today, the reason why I'm actually talking about it is because I have felt very cynical in probably the last few months, and I look at cynicism in a way where I kind of look at people and life in general in probably a dark contrast. I do have a harsh judgment of a lot of things, especially people. And so I honestly don't feel like it's something of a problem for me because I've kind of been a cynic my entire life. It doesn't make me a good person, doesn't make me anything that I can admit to that, but it makes me at least understand myself a little bit better. So I know that I am a cynic, and I know that that comes off to other people in a negative way sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. But as far as anything goes, so why am I talking about cynicism? Well, because as I talked about in my other podcasts, where I talked specifically about depression, I kind of was just like mulling over like all my thoughts and feelings the last couple weeks, and why I felt the way I felt for a long time, how I do feel about things, and more often than not, I see that I personally am depressed because of cynicism. Because see, like I said, so cynicism kind of just changes your perspective on how you view other people, and more often than not, I'm always surprised that people. I feel like people are always letting me down in a way. I feel like, and not just people that are close to me. I feel like almost all of humanity is letting me down, which is really, like what am I actually really achieving or doing or changing? How am I shaping the world? And so that's why I kind of go back and forth on this. Flip flop around, and I'm just like, is it me? Is it other people? Is it what really bothers me? And so the thing is like I am a huge advocate for communication, and I'll always promote that. Communicating is a good way to allow other people, some insight. And communication only works when you're willing to listen. Now, obviously, I picked a topic that that is actually affecting me directly. So therefore, it's easier for me to talk about myself because we're all really good at talking about ourselves. And that sentence alone, just we're all really good about talking about ourselves. We're all really good at that. That's cynical because basically that's me. You know, I could have said it in a nastier way, but it's pretty funny to me because I feel like that's pretty true. Now, cynicism doesn't always like it's nothing falsifying, um, but it is like taking things in like a light and then shifting it into a more negative light, and it's like, and it doesn't always occur that way. I mean, there's a lot of famous comedians out there that take cynicism to a level like Louis C.K. Huge cynical bastard, and there's nothing wrong with that. He takes what he sees, throws some harsh criticism and cynicism and all these other perspectives on him and on it, and then he tells it to the world, and then the world is like, I can't believe this guy is saying this, or why he's getting away with saying this, or he's like not crazy, but he's so cynical and sarcastic, and and a lot of people like those kind of people because they kind of put the some people feel like it's a truth on things, but I don't feel like it's necessarily a truth as much as it's just someone's perspective. So as far as cynicism goes, I just kind of feel that I'm constantly sitting here wondering, why am I so depressed, or why am I so angry or upset, or insert heavy emotion here. And the reason is because yeah, cynicism is like my ultimate feeling that I've had throughout my whole life. Like, I look at people and I look at what they do, and I'm just like disappointed in what they do. Like, it makes no sense to me. And that doesn't make me like a harsh, like, I don't judge people harshly. I judge people based on what they do, or what they say they're going to do, or how they act, things like that. And so it always comes down to, why am I so depressed? So I kind of find depression is like the ultimate form of cynicism, because like, cynicism kind of says, I don't care about this and that, or like, you just, I don't know. I mean, you can get a direct definition of cynicism. They basically say, it's obviously, it has to do with attitude. It's an inclination to believe that people are motivated by purely self-interest and skepticism. So it kind of makes you lose interest in what people are doing, because, and then if you can't care what other people are doing, why would you care about what you're doing? And that's why I say depression is probably like the ultimate form of cynicism, because you're just like, everybody's doing this, and everybody, like, and you kind of start morphing it into like, everybody's doing so much better than I am, and I'm over here doing nothing, and things like that. And so you start going down that road. Now, cynicism and depression, I don't, I feel that there's a link there. I'm not saying that they're one and the same. I'm just saying, like, when it comes down to, if you're going to be skeptical about somebody else's work, and that it's purely driven by their self-interest, that they don't care, well, why should I care? Then that can kind of morph into, well, if I don't care about what they're doing, why the hell do I even care about what I'm doing? Nobody cares about what I'm doing, clearly, because they're self-interested. And that's where they go hand in hand. Obviously, I don't have a psychology degree, but it's just a hypothetical, or just a thought process that kind of goes through my mind. So, outside of that, though, I mean, I kind of look at things in a bleak way. Sometimes I wish I didn't. Other times I feel that I need to change for the betterment. But yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to get out of cynical thinking, because more often than not, I tell myself, like, I hate life. And then I really stop and think about it, and I'm like, I really hate people. And that's kind of a fucked up thing to say. I just feel like almost at a loss for humanity. Like, I just am kind of like, I don't think I can really, like, everybody talks about, like, be the change you want to see. And it's true. You should always try to strive to change the world, to make it a better place. But no one really, we say that, but no one has the inclination of what that really means. Like, how do you make the world a better place when you don't even know what better is? Like, and even then, that could be a cynical thought. So again, I mean, I don't struggle with cynicism controlling my everyday, but I know that I'm a cynical bastard. I know that I say things that are somewhat inappropriate, somewhat rude sometimes. It's not like I snap at people or anything, but I'll judge people from afar based on what they do and what they say, how they act. I kind of go for the deeper, like, who is this person? And then when I see who they are, then I'm like, oh, well, they're kind of stupid, or they're kind of douchey. And I kind of feel like everybody does the same thing to me, which is probably accurate. Outside of that, I don't know, man. I just kind of sit here, and I'm always wondering about myself. I'm always, self-reflecting, and I always wonder why I am so depressed, and it's because of this loss of like interest in humanity can still be good. I'm like, and I think it's an age thing. Over time, like you're really hopeful in the beginning, and then like life just kind of like tidal wave crash down on you, and you're just like, oh God, like fuck this place at that point. Um, it's not productive, I can tell you that. But you know, I mean, I strive for communication so that other people might be able to like also maybe identify with what I'm talking about, and then also give me some feedback and be like, well, I get what you're saying, but this is how I see it. That's what I want. I don't get a lot of that. I say that every time because it's just true. I don't get a lot of your feedback, so it doesn't really work well for me. But you know, then again, maybe my podcast isn't all that great. It's fine. Doesn't have to be great. But these are just kind of like it's like a video diary or you know, some sort of vlog or podcast, whatever you want to call it. I'm just recording these because you know maybe someday later I'll rewatch them. Maybe my kids will watch them. Maybe my grandkids. Who knows? I don't know who's gonna watch them. Doesn't mean that they're invalid because these are just these are just things about how I feel about myself, about the world around me, and at the end of the day, you know, I am constantly looking for feedback. And so the thing is yeah, I don't know how many other people out there are cynical like I am, like in such a dark way that you know, like that's really what I'm wondering is how many other people kind of give up on all of humanity, like. It's a very heavy question, but I just kind of wonder who else out there kind of feels the same way I do, and how do we change that? Other than that, you know, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for taking time out of your day to do that. I appreciate it. I appreciate all feedback. You can like, share, subscribe, you know, do what you will with this video. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful day.